Did you know that every day in the US, 10,000 people turn 62? Think about that. That's over 300,000 per month or 3.5 million per year. Currently, we stand at 13 to 14% of the total population 62 years of age or older. And by the year 2030, that is going to blossom or balloon up to 18 to 19% or 1/5 of the total population will be 62 years of age or older. Yes, we are living longer. I also want to let you know that as a real estate agent, I take it very serious and I have a passion to work with seniors and active adults. Therefore, I have a designation, which is the Certified Senior Housing Professional. That makes me a different type of real estate agent that works specifically with seniors and active adults, helping them with transition as they age. I also take it very serious that on an annual basis, I get a background check. And to me, that's just another level of trust provided for the seniors and active adults that I work with. I do, as a certified senior housing professional, go to a conference every year in October, and I'm surrounded by like-minded real estate agents who, like myself, have a passion to work with seniors and active adults. And we share what we're doing in each other's markets from coast to coast. I want you to know that initially I've been doing this for 7 to 8 years, and I started with Susan's parents who lived up in Muskegon, Michigan. And where they lived up there, Susan and her two sisters were confronted because their doctor, their parents' doctor, had mentioned to them that it was time for their parents to go into assisted living. And after the doctor's appointments, they reached out to Susan, her dad did, and mentioned that Dr. Rob, who was their doctor at the time, wanted them to make that transition into assisted living. Her and her two sisters, did not know which way to turn. Hence, that's why I became involved to work with seniors and active adults, because I believe most children and their parents have no idea what to expect on that journey when their parents have to make that transition. What are the right places? Who do I trust? Those type of issues. And that's why I do what I do. So I started here in the Orlando area, and the struggle was real starting out. It was trying to find the right location. I wanted to do seminars. We talked about them at our Legacy Conference, but I wanted to make sure I had the right location. The first place I did, unfortunately, was not the right place, because what I had found out over time is that the Orange County Library System, where I could present these programs free to the public, was a non-threatening environment for most seniors and active adults. Again, it comes back to trust. So therefore, I worked with the Orange County Library System, and I set up a series. That series today, still ongoing. We're in our 6th year. Of course, we had a year and a half to almost 2 years of doing it Zoom, but doing it Zoom is just not conducive for that demographic, because number one, think about it, they either don't have an email or they don't have a computer, and they're not tech savvy. I'm barely tech savvy, but most seniors and active adults are not. So we struggled with that. But going back to our in-person events at Orange County Library System, I was averaging every month over 25 people who attended the Smarter Senior Seminar Series events. And basically, I struggled with it initially, but there were several people who would come up after an event and say, I really like what you do for us seniors. And that was the fuel to keep me going forward, putting this together, reaching out, building a network of trusted resources and services. So that's what I did. And the format that I came up with was basically topic driven, and it was set up not to do panel discussions, but mostly to have a person talk that their service related to that topic. They would be able to talk 15 to 20 minutes and answer any questions or concerns that the audience might have at the time. So I came up with a list of topics. Most work, some not so. But the topics that I came up with were like what you should know about legal, what you should know about living options, senior living options. There's so many locations, so many different opportunities, so much variety out there for seniors today in today's environment. Senior living affordability, senior scams, also health, aging at home. I've added real estate because it's concerning to me that the number one investment people have in real estate is their home. And there's so many people, agents, groups, investors that are trying to get a house from anyone, senior mostly, and get it at the right price, update it, and then they are the ones that make the money. So going forward, I'm going to have specific podcasts relating to all the different topics that I do for seniors. And I'm going to drill down a little bit about what it is, what type of services, what type of resources, and some stories that I'm going to share how I've helped, how my network, Trusted Resources and Services, have helped local seniors and active adults. So basically, that's the Smarter Senior Seminar Series event. And then about a year before the pandemic, at the other 12 locations in Orange County, I did a PowerPoint presentation on the 5 easy steps to downsizing. That one went over relatively well. I would have individual, just one presenter. It could be an estate person, it could be a mover, it could be a move manager, or it could be a senior placement service company that I would have join me at these events. And I averaged about 12 people in regards to the 5 easy steps to downsizing. So keep in mind that provided me an inroad to share what I do for seniors and active adults at the Orange County Library System, which I'm very grateful that we were able to connect and provide these seminars, free seminars, to the public. And it's basically about the whole concept behind the Smarter Senior Seminar Series and 5 Easy Steps is for seniors to be proactive as opposed to reactive. It's all designed about making or providing seniors protection, education, and information. So let me put it in this order: protection, information, education. The acronym for that is PI. Most seniors and active adults that I've run into, that I know, they love PI. So I thought that would be a good memory jogger for people. When I mention PI, they can think of Protect, Inform, and Educate, the Smarter Senior Seminar Series, or 5 Easy Steps to Downsizing. So the venue was right. The format I've tweaked over the years, but now, since the pandemic is over, relatively, we're still walking gingerly. We're doing our events 3 months out. We're putting them together. Whereas before, we always did it on an annual basis. So that gave everybody an opportunity to see what type of seminars I was going to have or provide each given month throughout the year, the location, the time, etc. So now we're on like a 3-month wheel, and it's working out. The numbers are starting to grow, but not near the amount that we had 25 in attendance prior to the pandemic. Therefore, I always look at myself as a connector or a networker. And basically, what I'm trying to do is get people referred or connected to the right resource or service that they have. I feel very confident with the network that I've created over the last 70 years. And keep in mind, each person or each group or each company that I work with, I always vet to make sure or to ensure that they are the right fit for what I'm trying to accomplish. And I don't have any problems because basically the bottom line is I like to sleep at night and I don't want to provide them referrals that aren't going to stand or back up their work. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to make it less stressful for seniors and active adults. And so far, I feel that I have a network that if I'm presented with some type of need by a senior, all I have to do is reach out to a certain group, and I know that that person has someone they can refer me to that they've used in the past on an ongoing basis. So it's been established, it works, and that's what works best for me. Now, I want you to keep in mind, Zoom wasn't successful. So I backed off of that. But I also want you to keep in mind that even though I feel there's a need for people English speaking for seniors and active adults, I've taken on and am mentoring a person. Her name is Alba, and Alba speaks Spanish. I felt that we needed to expand what we do for seniors and active adults in the Orlando market to include a bilingual agent. Alba fits that need. Alba has a passion, just as I do, to help seniors and active adults make sure they're taken care of, make sure that our customer service for that senior is spot on and they don't have any complaints or maybe minimal complaints, because we all, as we age, have some things that we like to complain about. But in any event, it's about making sure that the senior, both English or Spanish speaking, are taken care of in the Orlando market. So I want you to also know, even though I have that list of trusted resources and services, I don't, and Alba doesn't, get paid to refer people out. That's not what we're trying to achieve. What we're trying to achieve is to get seniors and active adults connected with the right resources and services that are available in this market. The only way we get paid for all of what we do is when a senior or active adult allows us to guide them through that process or transition from moving from one footprint to a smaller footprint, especially if it's a bigger footprint and they're not utilizing all of that home. And they're looking to either go into an active adult community, independent community, whatever it is. That's why I provide a consultation, which is free, for 1.5 hours just to listen to a senior or active adult, finding out what they're looking for as they make that transition or move, what's going to make them happy, what they can afford. And I don't need to dig deep into their financing or funds or assets. I just need to know certain things like monthly income, that type of thing. And I can kind of come back, I will come back, and I will provide 3 different options. And it's up to the senior and active adult as to what option they feel they will be the most happiest when they make that transition. So it's all about guiding and helping them, because I know, and one of the reasons why I'm in this or involved with seniors and active adults, because every one of them have thought about downsizing, right sizing, or whatever. But the one thing is that when they start the process, and really when you're thinking about downsizing, it's all a mindset. And when they start that process, they start with sorting pictures or paper or whatever it is, and they give up and say, you know what, I'll do it later. And sometimes that later never happens. Again, it's about helping, guiding, and having seniors become more proactive as opposed to reactive. Because making or doing downsizing, right sizing, whatever you choose it to be, it can be overwhelming. And that's why I'm here, Alba's here, to hold your hand through that process and to make it less stressful, less overwhelming. Because the one thing we want you to do is we want you not to be overwhelmed, but we want you to be happy where you're making your move. Now, the other thing too is, and I always tell people this, especially when I'm doing my seminars, is that it took me 60 years to figure out what in the hell I wanted to do in my life. But I look forward to working with seniors and active adults. And the reason why I love doing that is because each senior, each individual, they have stories. And I love hearing stories. I love sharing stories. But they all have stories. And all they want is to be listened to. And I enjoy working with them. The most rewarding is when they make a move, or I'm able to refer a trusted resource or a service to them, and they come back and they are so grateful because they were taken care of and they weren't scammed. And that was another reason why I do what I do, is because since people are living longer, there's more people, and we all agree that most seniors and active adults are easy targets or prey for scammers. And that's what we're trying to prevent. Alba and I, or the Certified Senior Housing Professional Group, we're trying to prevent any of that happening. So the ones we're able to work with, we are very grateful, and it becomes rewarding for us that we're able to help people knowing that they're happy with the transition that they made, they're happy with the services that we provide, and they're happy that they weren't taken advantage of. So that means a lot to us. So given Zoom wasn't successful, I had to think out of the box, and that's why I'm coming to you with my podcast. And this podcast is going to be done every week, once a week, and we're going to have a series, and it's going to be done every week as long as I'm doing or working with seniors and active adults, because this is very important to me, that I want to get the word out to a lot of seniors and active adults and their children, to let them know that there's a service out there like what Alba and I provide for seniors and active adults. We're the go-to people. We are the ones who can answer any and all of the questions that any senior or active adult has with housing, with legal, with senior living affordability, with aging at home, with health, with legal, anything you can think of, downsizing, real estate, insurance, senior scams, etc. We're here to answer any and all senior related questions. The bottom line is we want you to become what we say seniors in the know. And one other thing I want to share with you is when I did my events in person, and I would have people that would come up to me and ask me, do you have a roofer? I know you mentioned earlier on in your presentation that you work with plumbers, electricians, handymen, roofers, AC people, yard people, landscape, pool, all that stuff. And I say, yeah, I do. And the first thing out of their mouth, and I'm sure you're thinking that right now, is are they cheap? I want you to understand that if Alba and I refer you to anybody, they're not going to be cheap. And I won't refer, or either will Alba, refer you to anyone. Because the one thing we want is to make sure that what we refer you to is that it's a company or organization of which is our trusted resource and services, that they're going to take care of you. They're going to be competitively priced, and they're also going to stand or back the work that they've done. They'll take care of you. And we follow up with them after to make sure if we don't hear anything from you, we'll follow up with you or them to make sure that everything went well. And we let them know that that customer that we referred them to was ecstatic about the service, pricing, etc. And they're looking forward to working with them in the near future. So basically, that's the bottom line when it comes to what we do as real estate agents, because I know when someone says, I'm a real estate agent, I see most seniors and active adults scurry, or the first thing they say is, I'm not moving, I already know someone, etc. But that's fine. But I want people to know that there are services out there, specifically working agents with seniors and active adults, to make sure that they are protected, informed, and educated.